What's good, y'all? I'm coming at y'all with a good topic today in this discussion that we have going on. But salute to the ones, like I say, that light like the sun, which is yours truly, you know what I'm saying? That's power. Energy is power, you know why? Because it's something that you can't see, but you can feel it. And that's what power truly is, you know what I'm saying, family? That is power, you know? To glow, y'all, like the sun, is a trait that not everybody can possess, because you must get in tune with that. You can't just say you are this or that, y'all. That's not how science works. Science works when you are adapting to something, or you are just being and waiting it out, which is a process, you know, which you undergo, like I say, transformation. So in this video, y'all, I want to talk about, you know, the power of the eyes, you know, the power of looking at one's soul and speaking through the retinas, man, or like I say, your pupils, you know. This is a good video, y'all, because I'm gonna get on other things later on. But, you know, let's just say, you know, you don't have much energy, y'all, or, you know, you don't really have confidence within you. Well, if you can tell your eyes, they'll be dilated, or they'll feel like, you know, because your eyes are the windows to the soul, y'all. So everybody says that, you know. People are going to tell you that the eyes are the windows to the soul, because what you look at, you give your energy to, or you give power to, that create things around you. So that's exactly why I love watching my videos, family, because I'm creating my own reality with me stepping out and knowing that my eyes are pure, you know. My eyes, they shape out what reality truly is, y'all. Someone that's not gonna, you know, listen to nobody, but gonna act on how they feel within. And I'm projecting that out onto the world, y'all, you know. But the eyes are the window to the soul, because, you know, you have the chance to enhance your vision, you know, and increase the power that you gain when you look at things, you know. When you take on a journey like this of just being straight on semen retention, or if you want to say, you know, you don't lose what God has gave you, you become a powerful being, y'all, because the energy, like I say, it starts to evolve and go through parts of your body that probably has never had felt that way before, and it goes all around. You know, just imagine, like I say, a car that's on a racetrack, and I have talked about this analogy before. A small track is like this, but the track has nowhere else to go, so the car can only go around in circles forever until, like I say, it chooses to stop. But you never stop, because the energy is gonna keep amplifying the more you stay on the journey, y'all. You know, but the eyes, you know, just looking at the camera or talking to the fellow peers that watch this video, y'all, my eyes signify power and they signify truth, because, you know, even if I never had a glow, y'all, even if I didn't have this, you know, I still have, you know, like I say, the eyes to remind you that I'm speaking real, you know. If you don't believe that someone's on a journey, look under their eyes, you know, because I'm not saying they can hide their glow, y'all, but their eyes reveal what is true to you, man, you know. Your eyes are gonna give off a sense of clarity and a sense of, you know, straight, you know, purpose, because, you know, the eyes speak before the mind or the brain or just the mouth, you know, because you see the eyes, man, for what they are, man. You know, that's why you have the power to incapacitate other beings with just looking in their eyes, or simply if you look at someone, they might just look down, because there's too much power that you are, you know, emitting from these signals that you call retinas. And that's what most people, they can't look at you, or they look away like this. They look that way because they can't take that kind of, you know, intellect, man, because you don't have to say nothing. Just you looking at someone, you're healing them, and they might not know what that is, so they feel, you know, inferior to it, or they just feel heavily intimidated, y'all, because you're a being that's creating change and evolving daily, you know. Now, people won't see it like that because they don't even know where to begin, or they don't like change. They like I say, being still. So just think about that, y'all. You have the power to change one's perspective. All you really gotta do, y'all, is practice this journey right here. You know, if I look at the sun, y'all, you know, his face glows, y'all, because, you know, if you're already a children of the sun, it's amplifying you, man, you know. So that's why I say you must stay right here. You could look at the sun too. It's called sun gazing. You know, if you want to extract energy from that, you know, ball in the sky, so it can enhance, you know, the things you look at to help even more, you know. But that's for you. You know, you make the decision. I'm just here to remind you of how powerful your eyes become. You know, if you're someone who's lustful, your eyes are gonna look dead as fuck, or they're gonna look tired, drained. You might have shit like that because you're not taking yourself serious, man. You're playing with everything your body needs to function. You know, you're malfunctioning right now if you don't have that. So that's how you can tell. Because the goal is to remind yourself that I need to change. Not for no one, but because this is the life I'm living, y'all. Change starts when you are changing, you know. Change now, you know. I'm gonna push this video out on Friday. So like I say, happy Halloween to the beings that are watching this video, because, you know, it's about the energy you are giving to yourself, man. You know, no matter what you do, you should be happy that you have the energy in you, man. No matter what the fuck problems come your way, you are still where you gotta be if you have the energy, man. You know, a meteor could come down. Not saying you will, but just something bad around you can happen. People, maybe someone dies in front of you that you don't know. Yeah, it's gonna traumatize you for that moment, or it might make you feel like, damn, what the fuck. But you know that you couldn't do nothing about it, so that inner peace is gonna remain within you to keep you calm. And as a perfectionist, y'all, only people who have been through problems will get what I'm talking about. So that's why I tell y'all, family, it starts when you are ready to make a change, or to change your routine up, you know. When I was on my lower days, y'all, or let's just say someone who whacks off, you know, they don't have the confidence to look at a girl in their eyes, knowing that they're him or that they're them, because they can't hide what the fuck they're doing, and that void that they created for themselves, you know. So it makes them not even want to be around women, or it makes them feel like they just are tired of doing the shit that's presented to them, which is working, which is just living a simple life, playing the game. You don't feel like you're at your highest of capacity when doing those things, because you don't like what the fuck you're doing, you know, but you're forcing it upon you for a simple dopamine hit, you know. And that, like I say, that's what's killing you faster, y'all, because you're going off of a temporary feeling, you know, when you should be, like I say, harvesting yourself like a plant, y'all, and give it to the right, you know, soil that's for you, you know. But as I tell y'all this, y'all, I'm only giving y'all this from my perspective on how I used to live, you know. Everybody didn't start with this energy because you might not have been aware. So you fell for things outside of you. But you can't fall for things outside of you forever, family, or that's going to eventually lead you to your casket, or to a quicker death, because you're already dead. So the ancestors or God is going to remove you from the world physically, because you are living dead. You know what I'm saying? If you are truly alive, y'all, everything around you that's living is going to try to back you up and protect you while you are alive, because not everybody truly wants to live, or not everybody truly knows how to live, you know? My bad for the cutoff, family. You know how this shit be doing. When you speak some real shit, y'all, people or things around you are always going to try to prevent the message, because the messenger is what truly is the key holder, you know what I'm saying? You have the keystone, the key card. It's just people feel intimidated by a presence that speaks wisdom. You know, if you have wisdom, you're going to be feared, whether you want to or not, because people know that you know things that they don't, because of how you are and who you are, you know. So that's why I say, family, it's best to just focus on yourself and remind yourself that it's, you know, I'm not gonna worry about changing the world. I'm gonna change myself, and the ones that fuck with these videos will change for the better if they want to. Your goal should never be worried about another brain or being. You should be worried about how you can better your life, how you can remain with a glow like this, so it can radiate off of your skin when there's no sun in the sky, you know. And then people are gonna look at you like the sun. Fuck around, might wear shades around you because they can't take that light, you know. And that's what it truly means to become someone of power, man. You know, because you're not saying nothing. You know, people will crave for you to speak because they want to hear what you gotta say. But it's in the silence where people feel the most, you know, not say terrified, but at ease, because you're simply a being, existing, and they don't understand why you don't gotta say nothing to feel extravagant, man. You know. You know, most chosen ones, y'all, remain still and they remain silent. If you talk to them, yeah, they will speak to you, but they're not gonna try to look for anybody to talk to or with, because they know a lot more about life than yourself, maybe, or they just don't wanna, you know, create tension between people, because, you know, once you fuck with someone, y'all, you give them a part of your energy, and people can siphon that shit from you if you don't know or truly aware of what energy is, you know. That's why I say, man, the chosen ones know how this game is. You know, that's why they remain silent, because when they do speak, y'all, it's truly powerful, and it truly, you know, gravitates other people that would like to hear what you gotta say, man, because you become a walking inspiration, you know. The goal was never to post a video. It was never to, like I say, just come outside and stand in the sun, or you know, try to live peacefully, eat healthy. The goal is to remain with the energy in you. If you're a YouTuber or you're just someone who works at a job, you're going to be a walking inspiration regardless. People talk about how you need status and shit to make women feel you, but what really makes them feel you, y'all, is just you standing in your masculine frame, because women act out on that femininity. You know, if they have masculinity behind them, well, that's what they're forced to live in nowadays, because men don't know how to be men. So they eventually gotta feel that way, because it's a survival mechanism for their being, so they won't feel like a man's trying to take advantage of them, you know. And that's just truth, y'all. You know, if you are a masculine man, y'all, and you have a girl at your side, well, she can act out full femininity with you, because she knows that you are the one that's gonna lead the relationship in a way to where you won't really have her thinking on things that she can't, because she's emotional. So she goes off how she feels. You are logical, so you're the one planning, and like I say, choosing what and what y'all should do or what y'all shouldn't, you know, because that's how powerful you are, you know. If every man was emotional, y'all, well, then you're gonna go off of that feeling. And that's why men who don't have masculinity, what do? They go off of their feelings, or they get you fucking emotional, and they end up killing a woman, because you become feminine just like a girl, you know, if you don't know how to remain with your energy intact. So that's why I give y'all this message, y'all, because you don't want to stay there. You want to attract a girl. You're going to attract bullshit, you know. So that's just what it is. But the power of the eyes, man, you know, a woman can detect, and surely males can detect whether you got a strong presence simply through the radiation that your eyes emit, because your eyes will signify truth, and it will signify, like I say, just, if you want to say, charisma, because your eyes, they will tell you that they're serious without trying to tell you that. If you are staring at someone's soul, or especially if you make eye contact with someone, y'all, because everything around you can be portrayed or stepped on, but your glow and your eyes could never, because not everybody has what you have, y'all, to incapacitate someone or to make them feel like, damn, who is this, you know? That's why I say, you know, it doesn't matter what anyone says. It's about knowing that you're doing the right things when no one's watching, y'all. Integrity, you know? If you live every day like you're doing the right thing, eventually everything you want will come to fruition and it will pay off, knowing that, damn, I was tested. So this is my testimony. So this is why I have something to say or to stand on, because I worked hard to get here, you know? So just use your mind while you have it, y'all. Your mind is not going to be with you forever, but it will give you access to more energy and more knowledge that you can take over in many lifetimes, y'all. If you can let your body, you know, heal itself one night, letting go what the fuck it craves, you know, which is purity, which is life. Life is energy, limitless energy at that, you know. People are, well, you know, every time I get on social media and shit like that, y'all, I don't be on it for too long, but when I'm on it, y'all, I always see how men are emotional in this era, you know, or they feel like it's a battle to control their urges, man, when really, y'all, it's just in your mind, you know. If you see that in your mind, where your mind has more control over your, you know, your actions, y'all, and it should never be that way. It should be the other way around. You know, you should have control of yourself before the mind, because the mind will help you control these hands, you know, when you move of a stealthiness and you don't care about nothing but what you are doing, you know. That's how you become powerful, you know. You want to be someone like, literally, let's see, who can I give you an example of, you know? Let's think about this one. So any anime you might watch, you know, whether you look up to this character or you like this person, study that being, you know. Let's talk about Thorfinn in this video, to give you a perspective, or to give y'all something to do your research on if y'all trying to figure out what change is, you know. So Thorfinn, you know, his pops was trying to teach him the right way, you know. So he didn't have that, let's just say, he wasn't scarred, but he was scarred at a young age, y'all, because he witnessed his dad, like I say, get decapitated in front of him. Or, you know, he witnessed his dad lose his own life in front of his own eyes before him by the killer, seen the killer, and had to live with the killer, you know. Think about that, y'all. If you are someone who feels and really loves your own, because you wouldn't be here without your own, you know. Your father's one of your many creations, y'all, because he put you back down here for you to experience life. So just think about it like him. You know, he grew up living a good life with his dad. His dad was trying to teach him how to become a man, a strong man at that, through working hard and practicing and staying on the right path, right? But once his dad lost his life, his dad was feared by many and was envied by many, like you will be, and like myself, because everybody sees others attracted to you, or you just get attention that's unwanted, that people crave. But if they can't get it, they will envy you because you don't care that you're getting it. You're just simply trying to exist, right? Because you're acting out on purity. You're acting out on what the fuck life truly is, y'all. Embracing everything and transforming that shit into positivity. But Thorfinn, y'all, when he was little, he experienced, you know, what pain was, because he couldn't talk to his father no more once they all hit him with those bows, you know, and those arrows. So, you know, it scarred him for life, y'all. And that's why he was forced to take people, and he started killing everybody at a young age. He was about 9 years old, killing everybody, right? Because he was taught by, like I say, Vikings or barbarians how to live in this world, because it's either kill or be killed, yo. So that's all he was taught, right? But if his dad was life, he wouldn't have put him around that shit. They would have been living in some island called paradise, knowing what the fuck that even was, until he got older. But it didn't happen that way, because Thorfinn was forced to live a hard life to regain his control back later on, And that's why most people don't like how he became peaceful when he was an adult, or he just wanted peace, y'all. He wanted to, him and A&R wanted just to go to a different land and live there, knowing that peace is all he can find, because, you know, it scarred him growing up, because the more and more he found peace, y'all, the more and more wise he became. He couldn't run from his past because of the shit he had done. You know, you're not really thinking about the shit you do when you're younger, y'all, because you have, you know, you're not really aware like that. You're just doing what people are telling you because you were taught that way, right? So he was taught that way. Just like maybe y'all were taught how to fuck your life up, or just live in pleasure and not purpose, right? So either way, it's the same thing. But I give y'all this because, you know, he changed his life as he got older, y'all. He realized that killing and trying to harm everybody is not the way no more, because all those deaths and things he has done were haunting his ass. Just like the things you do will haunt you if you truly don't love what you're doing, right? So his eyes, if you go look at when he was younger, his eyes, you know, they showed a dead stare. They showed death, like it was someone that don't fuck with me, you know? And that's how you are when you are at your lowest, because nobody wants to fuck with you. You become invisible, or just people feel like they can toss you aside because they see that you're not really worth anything, you know? But to become worth something, or to become this diamond that is forged in a rough, you must use that pain that you were given, y'all, to fuel yourself up and burn that skin that was once upon you, to shed it, so you can, you know, become a brand new butterfly. You know, you're in that larva state right now, but you break through that cocoon, y'all, once you transform it and once you live with glow, you know? But just think about that. This is a good analogy, a good little example, because Thorfinn, like I say, once he got older, y'all, and those higher seasons, y'all, he realized that this shit ain't it. You know, I'm trying to find peace. I want to live on a farm and create things and just not worry about what people got going on, because, you know, and when he got older, y'all, he wasn't really killing or fighting no one like that. Yeah, he had, you know, controversies, or he had, like I say, simple, you know, disagreements with people. So it did cause him to, you know, get into battle. But he didn't kill nobody like that, or he wasn't trying to, because he had killed so many people at a young age, and not realize that he wasn't supposed to. But that pain in him, or that feeling that he felt once he lost his father, y'all, ignited rage and remorse in him. So he retaliated, and like I say, all he wanted to do was get at his father's killer, or he just wanted to kill everybody associated with him, right? Because that's just what it is, y'all. Once you love someone, y'all, someone who takes that away from y'all, you hold a deep remorse for, you feel hatred towards, because they took something from you when you ain't do it to them, you know? So you know it's not right. And that's why he was the way he was. I don't want to really spoil it for y'all like that, but, you know, it is what it is, y'all. I'm trying to give y'all a story that's truth, you know? And he had to be raised about his dad's killer. When they taught him number how to kill, how to protect you, and he just didn't like the fact that all he wanted to do was spar his dad's killer until he ended up killing him, right? And he was never the one that even killed him in the first place, y'all. He just wanted him dead. Even if he couldn't kill him, he wanted him dead, because he's the one who killed his dad, right? So that's why I say, man, that's a good ass anime to go watch. I recommend it. It's called Vinland Saga. You need to go watch that or read the anime, because it teaches you how to become somebody once you look at someone else's perspective on life, and you know, start simulating those things to yourself, man, because it gives you passion and fire to go. You know, you start worrying about others that treated you wrong, or you stop worrying about what they did to you, because shit, that's them. You know, I look at it like it was a test and how you reacted, and knowing that you could keep reacting, or you could, like I said, stop reacting and act with action. You know, that's why Thorfinn, he became more mature. He started living in peace, and all he wanted to do was find, like I say, Never Land, or if you want to say, well, what it truly meant to be. He wanted to go to Vinland, you know. But You know, I don't want to spoil it. I'm going to leave it at that. Just know he found peace at the end. But it took a hell of a hard life for him to get that. Just like you might be in a pit right now that's bottomless. But you can scatter and get out. If you choose to change your routine and change what the fuck you know is not right for you, you know? That's all it is. You know? Anime is nothing more powerful than that, because you could put yourself in their 2 feet if you have energy and start relating, or find any way to relate to them, because you can feel like, well, he inspired me to go, because if I was down, or if he was down, you know, he eventually became a peaceful being. No matter how many people he has killed, he still became a peaceful being, because he didn't let that shit define him. He let that shit change him, because he couldn't change the past, but you can change the future, you know? And his eyes, and if you go look in his eyes, y'all, his eyes tells you a story that shows a man who has been through everything and is just trying to find peace, man. Because, you know, it got to a point where he was letting them hit him. You know, he was killing everybody when he was little, y'all, and he had those daggers, and all he wanted to do was just shank you, you know what I'm saying? Or just cut your fucking neck off, or slice you, right? But it gets to a point where when he got older, y'all, he didn't want to do that no more. He wasn't even seeking conflict. He was seeking a different reality that tries to get him, because all he did was he was haunted by all those deaths that he had took, because he started realizing, damn, I took their lives from them. Because that's how you start looking at life, yo. Once you hold energy, once you live with a proper consciousness, you know, because you realize you won't like it if someone has took your life, you know. And that's why he's not necessarily happy, but he just feels at peace, and he's just okay with life at the moment, because life has taught him how to become better through peace, man. Through knowing that I have to change, man, because I don't want to live there. You know, especially no matter how peaceful he has become, he's still haunted by those deaths and traumatizing moments, because it's going to remain with him for the rest of his life. But you must change, because you'll feel at least better about yourself in that moment, you know? But go look at his eyes, though. From when he was little, you know, those were the eyes of a murderer, or just someone that shows weakness because you feel like you lost it all. And you don't want to react out of emotion, y'all. Emotional content makes you weaker. When you react out of no emotion and you just live knowing that it is what it is, but I'm going to still be peaceful. When you have the eyes of a masked man or a smooth criminal, because people can't read you, y'all. You become unreadable because you're not reacting. You're simply taking everything that comes with it, you know? That's why everybody was punching him and they were calling him soft and shit, because they wanted him to hit them back. But he still never hit them, you know? They were hitting him countless times, giving him bumps, bruises, you know? But he did not once fall, or he did not once die. All he once told them was, "Is that all you got? Why are y'all afraid of death? Why should you be afraid of something when you can't escape it, you know? Live like you know it's gonna happen, because it will." So that's an anime that truly holds gems, man. It holds gems. So as I give y'all this video, man, change your life, man, or you will watch it change you, and it will fuck your brain up, you know what I'm saying, family? So you must change now, yo, while you have the energy in your body to. God's forcing you to change. So change while you can, family, you know? No matter what you watch, no matter what you do, just simply working out will motivate you, because you're working out your body when no one sees it, and you will metamorphose over time, you know? But use this information to your, you know, your external world, because internally, y'all, if you have the energy, y'all, well, you can do anything you choose to, because you become a conqueror on this limitless conquest, you know? But I'm gonna leave it at this. Nobody can defy you in what you want to do, because the ball's in your court, man. You You know, remember, the eyes are everything. That's why if you look into a woman's soul or you look into someone's eyes, y'all, you have the power to change their perspective, because they are simply going to look away from you if they can't take that kind of radiation emitted from you, because they can feel change when they look at you. And that's why they look down, or they don't want to necessarily look too close, because you are giving energy from your being to them, y'all. And it might be irritating those demons within them, y'all, if they're not trying to conquer them or get right with the problems that they are facing, you know. But at the same time, you're healing them, y'all, because you're trying to create change within their reality, y'all. You know? That's truly powerful, man. Truly powerful. But I ask y'all right now, what are y'all going to do about it? Are you going to change, or are you going to let the world change you? You know? Don't be somebody for the world. Be something in this world. You know, family? Because it's going to help you, family. It will truly help you. No matter what you're trying to do. You know, like I tell y'all, women don't want fucking weak-ass men out here. They want a masculine man who's not even worrying about them, you know? They want somebody that's a challenge, because you're not giving a fuck, y'all. You're putting yourself before anybody. They don't want you if you putting them above you, because they see you are less of a man, y'all. They'll use you, always will, if you don't have nothing to stand for. If you're not putting, like I say, what you enforce down, you know. If you don't want your female to have friends, y'all, let her ass know right there if she's something, or if she's someone that wants to take you serious. You can't fuck with nobody else. I don't want that. It's not being insecure. It's showing that you are a masculine man. And you don't play fucking games, you know, like everybody else. That's just what it is, y'all. You take life seriously by the balls, while they are living in simple fantasies, man, trying to find or leech onto something. And those people will forever stay away or stay from, because they will hold you back always. But remember the power of the retinas, the pupils, the eyes, and how they dilate, y'all, once you hold energy in, because the energy that's emitted in you will be seeped out through those fucking antennas, you know? Once you look at someone or something, you're just looking at trees, y'all, or the grass, you give it life, man. Or you give that, it's like a plant that's what a seed. You start giving it what it needs to grow, because what you look at, you give life to, especially if you're truly living, you know? And that's how powerful you really are. If someone's sad or depressed, you looking at them, or simply, you know, giving them attention without talking, but just constantly, you know, reading them and staring at them, y'all, is motivating them and inspiring them. Because if they see something in you, well, they're gonna fuck with how you see something in them without saying it, you know? But I'll see you on the next one, man. Stay up, stay calm, and stay like that fucking sun in the sky, y'all. Stay like that being. You wanna glow out here, you know? But it's 100.